this. Okay, welcome everybody to another awesome Monday night mastermind, another Monday night meetup. I am your host, along with my team that supports in putting this together. Our Legends Equity Group. Jasmine is here, I believe. So Jasmine, if you want to say hi, you can say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, she's amazing. She found, Danny's also on here now. So there's a couple of us that are on this call that's on the team. And without them, really, I wouldn't be where I am. So I just want to express my gratitude to you guys first. And Jasmine, if you want to say anything to the people in this room, feel free.
No, just excited to be one more week here. I'm excited. I know tonight is gonna be amazing. I know Robert is gonna over deliver. I'm very excited for tonight's call. I remember when I met Robert at his office, we were talking about how much impact Grant Cardone has how much Grant Cardone has impacted our lives. And he says something like, it's just like, it's Grant Cardone, and after him, like, there's nobody. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Grant Cardone, and after him is you. So I'm very excited, very, very honored to have him here tonight. And hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you take notes and just enjoy it. Pay attention to everything.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, now the pressure is on for Robert. I'm sure it's not much. So before I introduce Robert onto this call, I just want to say that. Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, we are. We'll unmute you in a second, Robert. I want to share that this is a miracle moment for me. Okay, and when I say it's a miracle moment, is there was a lot of things that had to happen to get to where we are today, to get to where I am in real estate today. Okay, so when we first started, some of you guys have been on this call from the beginning, from the inception of this, when there was 4 people on this call. And when I made the declaration that 100 people will join this mastermind at some point. And last week, Rod Cleef was on the call and we had 100, what was it, 160, 170 people, Nick?
100.
So, yeah. And so it's a miracle moment for me because every single day I have the opportunity to step into like abundance and step into challenges, butt puckering moments for me. And in those moments, I can either shrink myself or I can expand myself. Anytime and everything in your life, you really only have 2 choices. Okay, so if we make everything simple enough, the choices is either you're in a state of gratitude, love, expansion, or you're in a space of fear, contraction, scarcity. There's only 2 choices that's ever happening from moment to moment. Okay, so the miracle moment is when we step into something where, there for all of us, there is an inspiration, something that God put in all of us, that we're supposed to do something that is much greater than what it is that we're doing now. It's not just working at a 9-to-5 job. It's to be in service to people. It's to make an impact in people's lives in some way. So this call, I want to share that my intention, okay, for this is that you guys are going to create value here. And I'm going to create value because my intention is happening. And as we build a community together, as we start to see a vision together as a community, like everybody can figure out where do they fit in, how you can fit into the collective vision. And the collective vision happens not just here, but also within your community, within your families. And then how do we fit into something that we want to create in the world for ourselves? Financial freedom is something that I believe is a first step that everybody should work to break through. Once you're financially free, you can explore spiritual side. You can travel around the world, gain new perspectives. And a big part of that is you have to put your own excuses and your own stories and your own limiting beliefs aside so that you can take on something new. And the invitation for everybody tonight is that as our speaker starts to share, he is somebody that is where we want to be. And that means you have to remove your own limiting beliefs of who you think you are all of that stuff that makes up this identity of Alex, it needs to change so that we can step into something new and we can learn something new, and give ourselves the possibility so that we can see it. And that's the intention that I want to set. So if you are here, be in a space like, what is the golden nugget that I'm going to get here? Not like, hey, Alex, Robert, Jasmine, you guys do me. Give it to me. Tell me what I got. But you want to be here in a way that you're looking for one golden nugget tonight that's going to change your life, because I'm certainly going to be doing it. All right. And when somebody at the caliber of who I've brought on to speak tonight, you want to be listening. Okay. You want to be in a space of listening, not in a place of like, I agree, I disagree. Don't listen from that space. Listen from a space like, I'm going to get a freaking golden nugget out of here and it's going to change my freaking life. All right. So that's the invitation. And don't mute me, Nick. I want to get us to a space, okay, where we do later on afterwards, after Robert shares and some of the question goes on. The best part of this is when we do the breakout room and everybody gets to meet each other. You know, that's, you know, you guys held me hostage for like 3 hours one night doing the breakout rooms. So I'm gonna make sure that I stop talking very quickly now and bring on our guest speaker today, and then we'll do that for about 35-45 minutes, and then he'll take some questions, answer some questions, you know, as it's going on. Make sure you're writing down questions. Okay, writing down questions, because you are here to find the golden nugget for you that's going to change your life. So without further ado, I want to bring on somebody that I really look up to in the Grant Cardone Club, and just the way that he exemplifies himself. Oh, yep. So the way that he carries himself, the way that he supports others, and the generosity of his time, every aspect of who he is, I strive to be like. And so it's an honor for him to be here today. Nick, if you can unmute Rockstar Capital CEO, founder, Robert Martinez, 800 million asset under management. Let's go.
What is up, everybody? How are you, Alex?
What is up? I'm great.
Man, we are doing really well here. You know, we're in Houston. We just had a big game last night. I don't know if you remember seeing this sign yesterday where it was Houston versus all y'all. Like, we became the most hated team in the country after what happened in 2017 with the cheating scandal. That there was a guy there that held this sign here, and I you know, it was so interesting. So my team has photoshopped it. It's not actually, it wasn't me, but I really liked it because it showed how you can overcome adversity, you know, and what they've done to overcome. They've overcome people defections. You know, they Garrett Cole was an Astro, right? And he was the game one pitcher against the Astros. They beat him. They overcame losing George Springer, and he was the World Series MVP. They overcame him. Last season, Carlos Correa, the prize free agent, right? They overcame him by bringing on a guy is probably going to finish second Rookie of the Year voting, and then he got the MVP for the American League Championship Series. You know, and that's all life is. Life's about overcoming the adversity, you know, to where they're now going to be in their fourth World Series since 2017. I mean, that is a dominant franchise and what's looking like a dynasty.
Awesome. Wow. So Houston, big things happening in Houston.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, but you know, it doesn't matter. Multifamilies is in every city. I was listening to somebody speak earlier who is in Florida, and she's saying now that her head is in the multifamily space, she's seen it everywhere. It's like when you buy a white car or a red car, you see that car everywhere now. All she sees now is multifamily. So it doesn't matter if you're in Houston, the fourth largest city in the country, or if you're in Jacksonville, Florida, or if you're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or you're in Scottsdale, Arizona. It doesn't matter. There's a need, right? Because everybody needs four walls and a roof. You know, Netflix doesn't work. Amazon doesn't work. Zoom calls like this don't work unless you got four walls and a roof. And so I think this is one of those industries that overall is recession proof. There will be some ups and downs in the space because of financing, but it doesn't there's not a loss of demand for the product. The product is necessary.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited to get back. Tell me which direction you want to go in it. Let's go.
Yeah, so I mean, why don't we first start with just a little bit of an introduction of yourself? How did you start in the business?
Yeah.
And you know, the beginning process. I'm very interested in the beginning process because a lot of us are babies, including
Yeah.
myself, and we want to get to where you are and just give us some tips.
Yeah, well, I've been doing it for a while, so I feel like I'm repeating myself because I say it so often. So look, I am proof that every one of you can own multifamily. You know, my father worked at Whataburger for 40 years. Whataburger's a Texas-based fast food restaurant chain. My mother worked at Levi's and later Hager's until both those plants moved away to Mexico. So they're my first mentors, and your first mentors tell you go to school and get good grades because that's all they know. And so that's what I did. I went to school. I got decent grades. And then my next professors are like, hey, get ready, interview well, and let's get a job. And for the next 40 years, that's what we're supposed to do. And it isn't until you get dissatisfied in life when you overcome that adversity. And my adversity was that I was a commission sales guy. So almost 100% of my income was commission based. I have an engineering degree from Texas A&M. But I would sell engineered product, and I would talk to guys with PhDs. I would talk to the smart engineers, the ones that graduated ahead of me, and I would try to sell them my company's product. And any good sales guy knows that you want to get paid the most for your efforts. So I'd work really hard, and while I wanted to make here, my employer wanted me to make here. And they made sure that they would make sure that they would monkey with my commission plan, play with my sales territories, and give it to somebody else. And after a while, it gets you. And so you start looking for another way to, at first, replace that income that you're not getting, that your employer's taken. And so it was an epiphany, is that if my employer has control of my income, then he has control of my life. Because as you said earlier, money is everything. When you solve the financial freedom game, the world's your oyster. You can do whatever you want. You can go to work, you cannot go to work, you can take a trip, you cannot take a trip. And I was very fortunate that after listening to business radio in Houston for a while, I found a real estate club. Now, this is before Zooms and all these calls. This is back in 2007. And I walked into that club thinking, wow, I'm going to be a single family king. I paid $500 for that 2-day boot camp. I learned what they needed, what they showed me in that Saturday too, enough that I realized, wow, I want to do real estate. Here's a great way to replace the income my employer was taking. Yeah. And so I went home and I told my wife at the time that I was going to be this single family king. And instead I went to Sunday's class, which is all about multifamily, and my world changed. What I learned there gave me the basics, gave me the seeds that I would plant, that one day I would harvest. And I learned the multifamily game. And over the next 15 years, I honed in on my skills. I learned how to lease apartments. I learned how to get the units ready and schedule the maintenance. I learned how to teach my team how to talk to their customers, which is our renters, because I had a sales background. And I became really good at it. And over the next 15 years, I would go on to become the country's only 2-time National Apartment Owner of the Year. I've owned and managed 7,000 units. Today, our portfolio is just shy of 5,000. Our company, Rockstar Capital, has earned 19 city, state, and National Apartment Association awards. My claim to fame is that I've done 100% cash out refinance events. And having got started in 2007 to now, I've hit a lot of markets. I've seen the ups and the downs, and you never lose in this game as long as you don't run out of time or money. And so, today we're in a really interesting situation where we have financing that's become an issue for a lot of people, me included. We have deals that are on variable rate notes, and it's going to present an opportunity because interest rates are going to continue to rise. Can't stop it. Fed's on a mission.
Oh, wait, hold on, huh?
I think I might have accidentally muted him.
Come on, bro.
It has to happen once every Zoom,
Unmute yourself, Robert. Or have your team unmute you, because, my team's over here muting the
Can you
wrong
hear me
people.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that.
Man, real estate's easy. People are difficult. And you're gonna learn that. You're gonna learn that lesson because that is what's gonna separate you from the next guy, is your ability to manage people, managing your renters, because the name of the game is renewals. Learn that right now. It is not about moving people in. It's about keeping heads in beds. Because every single time that somebody moves out, you're looking at what, $3,000 to get the unit ready? Throw in vacancy loss, throw in marketing costs, throw in a variety of other costs, and it adds up. And you do that $3,000, right, on a, let's say it's a 5 cap. Divide that by 0.05, you've lost $60,000 of valuation. So you can see how important it is to keep heads in beds. You don't want them moving out. You want to keep them there. And if you learn that secret, you'll be successful in the real estate game, specifically multifamily. So
Wow, that's a
I want
huge
to talk,
nugget
but I
right
want to
there.
make sure that I answer a lot of Q&A for you, because I think that's where everybody gets the most value.
Yeah. So, Nick, if you can, I know there's a lot of jobs for you to do. Caroline will be here shortly, but if you can also monitor some questions as you see them pop up, you can ask them. But one thing that you did say that I hear a lot is there's so many really successful people in this game and just in business in general started, and their whole thing always starts with they bought a ticket to some sort of course or some sort of mastermind, some sort of seminar, paid to be in this in some mastermind. It all started there. So can you just share a little bit of the importance of that and how it relates to your journey?
Yeah, so like I said, mine started the same way. I found the real estate club here in Houston, and it cost me a $500 ticket to come to the 2-day seminar. And at the end, they upsold me to the full membership, which was $10,000. I think today is closer to 30,000, if not maybe a little bit more. And that was the best $10,000 I ever spent in my life. That money created generational wealth. That money allows me to be here today, drive a nice car, live in a nice house, make sure my kids' college is paid for and then some, and pretty much go anywhere in the world that I want.
Yeah.
And again, it is not I wish it was my mom and dad had taught me this. It is not. It was through mentorship. And it's the important mentorship, because when you pay for mentorship, whether it's a 2-day seminar, a boot camp, whether it's one-on-one coaching like I do with Grant Cardone, you're there to learn. You're there to get the map that somebody else used to get to where they're at. And so make sure that whoever you invest with, whoever you give your hard-earned education money to, that they've actually done it. Because I've seen a lot of guys that are doing coaching and they've been in this game 2 years. They've never even seen a down market. They're only in Dallas where everything's gone up for the last 5 years. I mean, it's like literally being in the Saudi Arabia and digging for oil, and it's everywhere. That's how Dallas has been. And these guys are going to get punched in the mouth. They've never seen a market like we're about to have. So I think what separates me from other people is that I actually did this. I actually sat in that chair and I did it for a period of time, 3 years before I ever started Rockstar Capital. And I was learning on somebody else's dime, and I ran that operations team. And again, I learned from somebody else had at least, and then I perfected it using my own abilities on how to make sure that we were putting the right unit with the right people, qualifying them, getting the units ready, and more than anything, making sure that they don't move out. Everything we do is with the renewal in mind at our company. So what can we do to increase the resident experience from the moment they drive up to when they tour the property, to when they move in, to when they renew? Because the better experience they have, the easier it is to get that renewal. And again, that's the name of the game.
So I know that you also have a mastermind that you run, right? You have
Yes.
a mentorship program.
Yes.
So can you share a little bit of that? And this is something that at the end, tomorrow we'll be sending out the replay of this call for you guys. And also there will be all the contact information and anything that Robert shares. So I want to make sure that he gets to share this. Has Robert written any books? You've written any books?
No, I'm working on a book. It's funny you said that. I am working on a book. It's probably going to be called The Rockstar Way.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
so yeah, we started an education company last year, and we had our first mastermind in October a year ago. We did really, really well. I wasn't sure how serious I was about it, but then I got like, I do need to give back more, and we put more emphasis. And then the one we had in October already, I doubled the enrollment and the sales that we did in that first one, because people realized, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. You know, he's actually been in the trenches. He knows how to build a team. He knows how to scale to get to 5,000 units. See, a lot of these guys, they've never run a deal before. You know, you're giving them money to operate or to take care of and to operate this apartment complex. But what is their relevant business skills? You know, do they have proof in the pudding on how they know how to do this, right? So I really enjoy this because I feel like, wow, there's such an opportunity for me, a guy that's a 2-time national operator of the year, not a syndicator, an operator of the year. You know, so we have another mastermind in January. And again, I'm going to show you how to get qualified. I'm going to show you how to build your professional team. I'm going to show you how to do a quick and dirty underwriting, because it's all about seeing as many deals as possible. Do not go to a deal and waste your time until you've done the back of the napkin underwriting and you know how to do that, where it can literally take you 2 minutes to figure out if you want to go there. I'm going to show you the 1% rule, where you realize that, hey, I want rent to be 1% of the per door price. And if you get somewhere in that range, you've got a screamer of a deal. I'm going to show you how to do due diligence on how I do it the Rockstar way. I'm going to show you how to operate. And then I'm going to show you how to scale. Once you've done this a few times, on how to scale your business, who the next person you're going to hire in your company. When do you hire a lead maintenance? Maintenance supervisor. When do you hire a regional supervisor? When do you later go on to hire, your VP of marketing or your VP of sales, right? Because you need to learn every single job. There's not a job in the property management world that I didn't do. From, again, leasing apartments to running the deals to doing a Facebook ad. I learned that on my own. Visited Gary Vee, met Grant Cardone in 2018, understood branding and how to raise your equity. You're going to raise your equity in rooms like this. You're going to raise your equity through social media. That real estate club did not show me how to use social media to raise equity. All the equity came from the room. I credit Grant and I credit Gary Vaynerchuk, again, who I paid money to on exposing me on how to do it. And then, you get discovered by people just like you who may have never heard of me, but I've been doing this for 15 years, and I remember when the first time I met Grant, I paid $10,000 to come sit with him. I brought my 2 children. There's a video on YouTube on this. And he was amazed that at that time I had 2,800 units. He was amazed that there was somebody like me at an independent level, not part of a big REIT, not part of a big group, a guy who just, boots on the ground, grassroots style, had built his portfolio up. And today we're at we're almost at 5,000 units. Since being with Grant's mentorship though, my portfolio value has increased from 400 and some million to 675 today. So what took me 10 years to build, in 1 year with Grant's personal one-on-one coaching, I grew my portfolio value by 60%. And that's what I mean about passing back the map. As Jasmine said earlier, and again, Jasmine, thank you so much for having me on here. There's Grant Cardone and then there's everybody else. Where is everybody else? I'm very fortunate to be in that club. I love being in that club. That's where I met Alex, in that club. And again, I'm right there. I'm one of the premier students in that club because I listen to the advice that he gives and I execute on it, because I don't want to make a mistake. That's why you're paying for education dollar. That's why you would pay for my mastermind or you pay for somebody else's, because you want someone to hold your hand, show you the map to save you dollars, because you only get one chance at this. Just very, very, very quick, give me 30 seconds on this. When I joined that real estate club, I walked in with a buddy. And he, after the weekend $500 boot camp, he didn't want to pay the $10,000. And he decided he wanted to buy single family rentals. So with a brother-in-law, he bought it. He bought one. And he made all the mistakes that you're ever going to make. Number one was he did it himself. The club would have told you, hire out and don't do it yourself. But he wanted to save dollars. So every day after work, he and his brother-in-law would go. What took them 3 times as long as what it took to hire a professional. And what happens is that when they were finally done, not only had they paid more money to do it themselves, thinking that they were, saving dollars and they weren't, they missed the market. And the market changed on them. And it took him almost a year to sell that house. And at the end of the day, he made less than $10,000 on that deal.
Wow.
And he was not worth his time. But more importantly, he lost his number one fan, his wife. She did not support any more deals because he almost lost money on that deal. I think he was paying, he never got it rented. So he was paying on the mortgage every single month. And of course, she's scared because, they had their primary house. They had this rental and they're paying an extra, I don't know what it was, $500-600 a month, which at that time was a lot of money for them. And she got so close, to losing money on this deal. She's like, we're never gonna do this again. And he lost her support. And that's disappointing, because I paid the mentorship and I went on to I've got a pretty hefty net worth today. I've lost count of what the multiple is over what I started, but it's probably 50x.
Yeah.
And had he just paid the mentorship and gone the right way and not acted cheap with his money and paid for that education to get that map, to get somebody else's lessons on what they did wrong, he would probably be where I'm at today.
Yeah, I think, that story resonates with me a little bit too, because I went to Grant's conference last year with a couple people as well, and nobody was willing to pay for the mastermind. And I paid for the mastermind. Today, they still have no extra units. And, being a part of the mastermind, watching you, getting to see you every week, getting advice from you and Grant. I mean, I went from 12 units to about 900 in this time. And so, that's I think what Robert also is speaking into is the time that it saves. It took him 10 years to get to a certain level, and with the right mentorship, the right ecosystem, the right community that he was part of, doubled his net worth. Of course, all that stuff in between from the first 10 years, it definitely mattered too in the speed. But, so for someone like, and there's some questions here that I'm going to ask from people in here, but for me, just like somebody like me that, is now new in the game, not new to real estate, but new into multifamily. And yes, I have not seen the up and downs in multifamily like you have, but what advice would you give me as I'm operating and I'm responsible for my investors' money and all of that?
Number one, never have a cash call, because once you you have to raise equity, additional equity, you've lost the investors' confidence. Number two, don't lose money. So if you underfunded, put the money in yourself. In 2015, I had a situation where I had a deal where I bought it right, but the market shifted on me, just like what's going on now. And we actually was a job loss, and it was a smaller deal. And I actually paid I paid money out of my own pocket because I couldn't get the demand that I needed to keep these units filled. And I put them as corporate units. And I did that to survive what was going on, so that eventually I could get out of this and sell it for, we didn't hit our numbers by any stretch of imagination, but I kept us alive. But every single deal like that, every single setback is a learning opportunity. That's when I discovered social media, because we were unknown. That deal, I thought it was in the right place. I just got hit with a downturn. I had to learn social media. My first social media ad came from keeping that deal afloat, a little 51 unit Class A deal in Midtown in Houston, where the average rent was $1,500. And I had rents down to $1,300, $1,200, $1,100. I think I did a couple units at $1,000 just to get money coming in. So number one, make sure that you have plenty of money in your accounts. Like when you're raising your equity, raise extra. Nobody gets mad at you for raising extra. They get mad at you when you don't raise enough. And like, oh, well, people think you're over raising, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm protecting the deal. I'm protecting the asset. It's going to sit there in that account until I need it. But it's better to have that rainy day money than not have it at all. Because the moment you have to come hat in hand and say, please, can I have some money? You're going to lose your investors' confidence in you.
Awesome.
And they're going to ask you, have you ever lost money on a deal? Have you ever done a cash call? Those are the two questions that a passive investor should be asking you.
All right. You guys heard that right there. For you guys that you are looking to invest in deals too, two questions that you should be asking. And if you're going to be a general partner, there's another nugget right there. So
that's right. I would recommend at least 6 months to a year of operating reserves. Especially in today's market. I would have said 6 months, 2 years ago, even during COVID, we had at least 6 months to a year and we never stopped distributions. This right now, this is something else, because if you have a note, right, that moved up in interest payment, you may have lost your cash flow. So your investors don't get cash flow, but if you're still popping rents, you're still staying full, your NOI is still growing. So, but if you don't have the money in your account to cover that extra payments, then you might be in trouble.
Yeah, you're only in trouble if you run out of time or run out of
time, or you run out of money. Those are the two ways you lose money in real estate: time and money.
Awesome. So the first question here that I see is, how much is Robert's mastermind in January? That's my question as well.
Yeah. So our mastermind, I think the regular ticket is Natalie, what is it? 37.95. I believe it's 37.95. We have a VIP ticket, which gives you some additional freebies, including sitting in the front row. And I'm going to tell you what, this is another little nugget. Anywhere you go, whether it's Grant Cardone's Growth Con or somebody else's, Rod Khalif. I love Rod Khalif, a great guy. He's asked me to speak a few times. You always want to pay for the best ticket. You want to pay for the best ticket because, one, you want to be closest to the speaker and you want him to see you. You want to make eye contact. You want him to know that you're a player in the room. Additionally, who else sits in the front row? The other players in the room. And many times you guys can do business together. You exchange information, you can work together. At Grant's, he's got different price points, right? I think that you can get in there for, I don't know, maybe as cheap as $1,000, but you're going to sit in the back, and that's not really where the money's at, or you can sit in the front row for $10,000, which is where I normally sit, right? Because I want to be a player. I want to sit there. I want to pay attention. If I'm sitting in the back, I'm going to get lost in somebody's conversation because you can sit there and whisper and murmur. You can't do that in the front row.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Grant sees you, he acknowledges you. I don't know if you went to the last Growth Con. I lost count at the number of times that he recognized me and my team there and mentioned our name, right? That's good for the ego. That's good. That keeps you involved. It keeps your head going. Everybody else sees him, acknowledge you, like, oh, who are you? Oh, you're somebody. And that's kind of what's going on in our mastermind club. Is that, Ryan or Ryan Secco or Grant or even Andres or Jake, they defer to me when there's a question there, Alex. And so it's because you're recognized as somebody. And so I've seen guys that have sat there in the front row that all of a sudden now they're doing multifamily because they got that access. They got that front view where you don't lose focus, because you never know, as you said earlier, there might be that one nugget that changes everything.
Mm-hmm. So for somebody that's like, let's just say they're on this call and, it's going to be a lot of money for them to commit to go and to sit in the front row, and they don't really know what they offer yet. Would they still sit in the front row when, they're not really a player? They're just trying to be around. Like, is that still apply? Like, to go sit there when you don't have
there is
anything
no
going
shortage of money. And if you're thinking about money, you're doing it wrong. You got to play on offense. You cannot play defense. You got to spend that money, and you got to put yourself in a situation, put yourself in the environment to give yourself the opportunity to meet somebody, to give yourself the opportunity to be around other like-minded people, because that's what this is. Your success comes from being around the right people. If the guys in the back of the room don't own real estate, probably you're not going to own real estate. If the guys in the front of the room own real estate, then you're going to own real estate. When I was in that real estate club, it was a pretty big club here in Houston. All my friends that would eventually become my friends were millionaires who owned real estate. And guess what? You hang out with people who are just like you. And so, if it's a money thing, you don't have an expense problem. You have an income problem. Figure out a way. Put yourself in a position there because you want to be in those conversations. When I walked in that real estate club, 2007, I didn't know a soul. But I sat in the front row because it was free. I wanted to pay attention. I wanted to learn the speaker. I eventually learned who the speaker was. Asked a couple questions because I was there. There was a big line because the guy had done a great job, but I was in the front row. So I got to make sure that before I went home, I got my question asked. What if you would have sat in the back of this row? You had a question, but you're like number 30 in line.
Yeah.
Right? Think about this, right? Early bird gets the worm. You want to be close to stage. So if it's a free stage, for sure sit there. If it's one to pay, I would say spend the money. What are you going to do with it? Like, the money's there to be spent. It's there to buy you access. It's there to buy you opportunity. And you have to recondition and undo what mom and dad and society have taught you. This is your little army of money. And you send it there to go to war for you and to bring something back. Well, when you go to these events, you need to learn. You need to bring something back. And sometimes you have to put your money where your mouth is so that you take that event seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to Grant one time. He used to do free events. He stopped doing those events. Guess what? People treat it like it's free. They don't show. He wastes tickets. He goes, I'll never give away a free ticket ever again. People have to have skin in the game. And I think that's true. I think level it up to the next level. It's better to sit as close as you can to whatever ticket you can afford to get up into. And I promise you, the conversations will be different.
So how much are your tickets to your
Yeah, so
mastermind?
my
January?
ticket, we have two pricing. It's $3,750 and $7,500. And the 7,500 is, of course, a VIP. That's private access with me. That comes with an hour coaching call. That comes with a private dinner where we all went out together, and just being close, meeting the speakers, private Q&A. And that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that time. I went to Grant's last event. I forgot where it was, Alex. It was in Miami, and I paid extra money to be in the front row. And I got 2 days of lunches with him and the other guys. There's only about 10 of us. So I got to sit with a billionaire 2 days in a row over lunch. What do you think? He saw me continuing to give back, continuing to ask questions, continuing to grow. And what do you know? A year later, my portfolio has grown by 60%.
Yeah. And, I got to spend a little bit of time this past weekend with Grant on this show. A lot of you guys know. And Robert actually gave me a lot of really good advice in how do I be in the room with someone like Grant. So I think, being known, being in a club, I mean, I was willing to spend the $25,000 to be in a club. That gave me access to somebody like Robert. That gave me the advice that put me in a better position with Grant. And I don't know what that's going to turn out to be, but that 25 grand is probably going to pay off 10 times.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Because you're around see, think about it. I wouldn't know you, Alex. We know each other because of that club.
Yeah.
Right. So it turned into this access right now that we're talking. It turns into that private conversation you have with me. We'll multiply that times other conversations. Multiply that times whatever comes out of Grant's mouth. You get to sit down with a billionaire once a week for $25,000.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? And by the way, his people call me, so they're going to be here in Houston, and I think I'm going to host them at my office. I think Ryan Pineda did that. I saw that. I think you showed. So I think Grant's coming to Houston. He said, or his people said they want to use my office. So we're excited about that too.
That's super cool.
But again, but here you go. You see, you pay so that they see you. What do you think that's going to do? Like, what did being on that show do for you and your confidence, Alex?
I mean, it totally changed the way that when I present a deal, like how confident, what questions I have to look at, the due diligence work. You can't BS somebody that knows the game that well, that has gotten to that level. Questions that I didn't know the answers to, it's shown me where I need to level up, like all the areas where I need to level up, including when I was sitting there and and my broker walked up and he had a nice watch on. All of a sudden, me and Grant are talking. He goes over and talks to this guy about his watch.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what did I do? I went out and bought a really nice watch. So, you gotta, these are things that open up and you have to be willing to spend the money. And so when Robert said $7,500 for his VIP tickets, I want you guys to notice what is going on inside when you hear that number about an event. And also, as Robert is speaking, do you see yourself moving in the direction of, okay, I can make sense of that $7,500 ticket?
And P.S. that's a 3-day event. So
3-day event.
You're going to get me for 3 days. You're going to get speakers that I bring on. I'm talking like the bankers that are going to tell you what's going on. They're going to help you get underwritten. Success stories of other of our students that have done stuff. I brought in last week in September when we had it, I brought in a guy named Washington Ho. He's a local guy here in Houston, became a friend of mine about a year ago because we were talking watches at a mutual friend's jewelry store, and he's on HBO's House of Ho. And so he came in and talked about how social media has changed his life and how he pitched his show to HBO and how they bought it. Like, that's what you pay for. You pay for stories. Alex, meeting Grant and being that close to a billionaire and hearing them talk, that changed your life forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now just think about if you can be around that kind of person more and more. And so that's exciting. That's exciting because that's what you're doing. Everybody wants to give back. Now we all want to pay for that access, right? His time is worth money. My time's worth money. Everybody's time's worth money. But you're paying for that secret sauce and how to get ahead in the game. And so I'm hoping that by the end of this mastermind, you're going to see, wow, I like Robert. I like the way he presents himself. He feels genuine, because those are the things that people always tell me, is that he just seems like he's been in the game. Well, because I have. You can't fake this stuff.
What's the date for that mastermind?
So right now we're at January 25th through 27th. Again, it's in Houston, Texas. It'll be here in my office. It's only about 30 people. So it's a very small group that you're going to get a lot of access to for 3 days. Our last one was 2 days, and everybody said, no, we got to have a third day. There was so much more. Like, all right, let's go 3 days.
All right, I see you there. So
Just
next,
come on, Alex, come on.
I'm there, and you know where I'll be sitting now that I'm inspired
got
by
us in
this
the front row,
conversation,
man.
of course. So
Alex,
I
I
got-
even put you next to me at dinner, man.
okay, all right. Well, if that's the case, it's sweetened. I'm
There
doing
you
it.
go.
All right. So Robert, the next question, Mike Bailey, the legend.
Mike's
Mike
here.
is here. So Mike, why don't you unmute yourself and ask the question? I don't want to read your question. You ask it.
Why not, Alex? So I got a little bit of light tonight in the background.
Good.
So I'm down the road from you, I guess, Robert. Anyway, not tonight. You're probably at your office, but
Yeah,
I'm
I'm at the
over here
office
at
tonight.
I'm over here in River Oaks right now.
Yep.
So, hey, I was just curious. We've chatted on this some, and I'm still looking towards like the idea of when it makes sense to go vertically integrated in a company to say, okay, I need to have property management. I need to have my own CapEx team and do those things versus starting out where I need to just own and operate the properties and hire out the other pieces that I don't really have, it may not be the right value for the starting out point, I guess. And I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
I love that you asked me that question, Mike, because that means you're growing and that means you're thinking ahead. Number one, does Grant have that?
No,
No.
but you do.
I don't anymore.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
you moved away
changed.
from that?
You
I
moved
didn't
away
know
from
Yeah,
it.
so let me tell you, so a little bit more of my story here, right? So I
Okay.
became a 2-time national owner of the year, and I started my own property management company because that's how the real estate company, the education company, educated me. But I can tell you what happened though. I got knee deep in everybody else's bullshit too. Real estate's easy, people are difficult. And Class B and C, dealing with problematic, people from time to time, it wears you down and it slows you down. And a very, very quick story, Alex, you may have heard this. So again, I'm one of Grant's students, all right? I paid $100,000 basically for access to Grant, 4 1-hour calls. And the very first call he gave me was in October of 21. And he said, I want you to get out of property management. It's slowing you down. I'm like, no, it's not. That's my, my calling card is what separates me from Grant. I actually ran these deals. We've got all these awards and success stories, and one day I'm at an event. Alex, you may have been there. And he calls me, hey, Robert, tell me about that ice storm. And Mike, I hope you're listening to this. Tell me about that ice storm y'all went through. And I'm going through this conversation about all the things we had to go through. We didn't have supplies, displaced residents, having to go back and, break, the pipes were frozen, having to have repairs, having to fix sheetrock months afterwards, just loss of revenue, just all kinds of issues. And he's like, yeah, tell me more. And I thought he was trying to pick my brain from an operator. He wanted me to talk because he wanted to see how much I got knee deep in it. And of course I did. He goes, you know what I did during that time? I go, what? He goes, I found a deal that is going to, $120 million deal that I'm closing right now. And the light bulb went off. The light bulb went off and said, man, I could have been chasing deals that would have generated in a $120 million purchase right now for me. But I was too busy dealing with other things. He said, hey, I got the same phone calls like you did. He hired a group called Roscoe out of Austin. And they're calling me. He's like, great, man, that's fantastic. Why are you calling me? That's for you to handle. I'm the asset manager. Thanks for letting me know. What's your plan? Okay, you take care of finding supplies. You take care of the icy roads. I'm over here in Florida trying to chase a deal. Man, see you later. Don't call me anymore. That was really what happened in that event. And again, the very first coaching call he gave me was to get out of it. Well, I had to go through my last year of property management to realize, man, I don't want to do this anymore. It just clicked. And so effective August, we got out of property management. And we hired the company that Grant uses, Roscoe. So think about why I did this. I had 5,000 units. They have 120,000 units. So they're 30 times our size. They have a 15-person HR team. They have a 15-person training team. I had one. There's a shortage of labor, which is really what got me, because I'm tired of dealing with 2 weeks notices. I'm tired of dealing with no shows. I'm tired of dealing with people that I can't fire because I have no one else to replace them. And when I realized, man, I'm still the same operator, just the market's changed on me. I can't find the people I need to put in those places because they're gonna go, the best players go work at the best companies. I can't offer them the incentive package that they have there. I can't offer them the career ladder that they have at 120,000 units. When I realized that, I was blessed that they were willing to take my portfolio on. But they did it because I'm a player. I'm in the top 10 largest management companies in Houston, so they wanted to expand their market share, so they took me on. But all of my expenses down. I no longer have to pay for accounting. My insurance is coming up for renewal, and I'm going to get I'm going to be on their pool plan versus my own plan, which is going to be much more expensive. So my insurance should go down. My group health care for my team, so they can attract better teammates, that's going to go down. I'm going to get in all their national contracts, maintenance, that's going to go down. So the next 6 months is going to be really, really good for us. But I had to come to the realization that, man, there's a bigger group. There's somebody better at it. Again, I'm a national owner of the year. I know what I'm talking about, but I know now what people can't say to bullshit me. And so, Mike, I'm going to tell you, I think it's a novel idea to go and do that, but you're just chasing dollars. I think. I think you can still be the asset manager. You can still oversee that, and you can make your money that way.
No, it's great to hear.
I know a lot of guys that we all inherit laundry rooms. I know a guy that spent $100,000 on his laundry room, tried to turn into a laundromat. He took his eye off the prize, and his property went downhill, and he lost the deal. But he had the prettiest laundromat I've ever seen for an apartment complex. When he just stayed focused on what he was there to do. Say it again.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate it because I appreciate that, and it's actually ties better to where I would rather be in the plans. And I'm glad to hear from your side that you are going that direction. It just gives more weight to that decision for me and my team.
If I could go back, Mike, I would have made this. I lost my key person back in 2020. The person who basically started the business with me, and she was a young woman at the time, and she retired a millionaire when she left me. But she when I should have left. I should have ended the business there, because when she left, all of the business experience that we shared together left with her.
Yeah.
When you're a mom and pop operator, you don't create policies and procedures the way you should. You don't create systems, and that's what you're buying. It's what you're inheriting with a larger company. You're inheriting their systems, their quality control. And so I'm going to tell you, if I could have done it again, I would have done it 3 years ago. And if I would have known then what I know now, I would have done it even earlier than that. It's just that in that real estate club, they put horse blinders on like this, and they tell you this is the only way to do it. And it's not until you take the horse blinders off when you can see the rest of the world, you get real context. And like, man, if I would have known then, if I had met Grant earlier, I would have done it earlier. I would have known better. And I could have used my time, instead of dealing with HR related issues, I could have focused on building my portfolio, expanding my investor base. I mean, I've raised $180 million of private capital since 2011. But that would be 250 million today, if not more, if I had made that decision 3 years ago. So I would stick to what you know. I would keep it as streamlined as possible. Eventually get away from co-GPing, so you don't have to share in that, because you've got into track record and you build your equity base, and just do that.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank
Mike,
you.
I'm going to leave
Thanks,
you on
Alex.
here, Mike, because for anybody that doesn't know Mike, get to know Mike. He's the one that really gave me my first shot. So I'm eternally grateful for Mike, and all the things that he's taught me, the resources that I've created, and that the people I've met. It's because Mike also gave me this shot. So I'm going to leave Mike on this pinned first screen, but I want to bring Robert's favorite person on here, Ryan. Ryan, why don't you unmute yourself and come face the heat again?
Sacco, Ryan?
Oh
who?
my!
No, your boy.
Oh my God.
Who wasn't listening to you? Who wasn't listening to Grant, listening to you on that call on Wednesday?
Oh,
Hey, Robert.
hi, man.
How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Good to hear from you. There you are. I see you.
Good to hear. What? Yeah. What was that?
I can see you. I couldn't see you before. I can see you now.
Oh no. Yeah. I'm really. Thanks for getting me on, Alex, for letting me jump on. This is Tatiana, by the way, my girlfriend. So yeah. I really am grateful for what you said the other day, and I did take it to heart. And you know, in my past, it was tough to take advice and not criticism, but just constructive insight is what I call it. And a lot of questions for you. I mean, number one, so that deal I did, just so you know, it's kind of funny timing. So this morning I did meet with you'll be happy to hear that I did meet with a broker and take Uncle G's advice. And I did, as Alex and I both have been working on the broker to try to get him to do the lease option and take back, instead of 1.5 million, 2.5 million to sweeten the deal. Because we bought this at an auction, the brokers got a lot more control with this deal. I'm wondering, number one, have you ever bought a deal at auction? And if so, you know, how was it different than any other deal that you purchased? And then the second part is, you know, because I own a digital marketing agency, I'm wondering, because you had said, you know, you talked about social media, I'm wondering specifically how you leveraged not just social media, but specifically like Facebook ads, or maybe obviously, you know, Google My Business, which is what my agency specializes in, to fill your units. And have you owned any storage units? And if so, like, how do you leverage, you know, social media to fill them?
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer your questions if I can remember them. So I've never bought a deal at auction. I have bought a foreclosed deal. I bought it straight from the bank. They were represented by one of the realtors not realtors. I shouldn't say they're not realtors. They're listing agents. You know, the big multifamily like Newmark Knight Frank. And I remember I bought that deal for $15,000 a door in 2011. You know, and when I sold it for $90,000 a door in January of 2020. I wish I had held it because it'd be worth so much more today. But you know, so that's the closest I've ever got to something like that. So I don't have anything to offer you on that. As far as what was your about storage, I don't have any experience in storage. You know, so I can't give you any insight. You know, again, it's like I told Mike, I stay in my lane. I focus on multifamily. Storage makes sense on the surface, but in times of recession, people cut back. I don't want to pay storage. You know, very first thing I did here is that when we consolidated our office from a 130 person management company down to basically 10, you know, we had office space. We had additional capacity here. We were renting an additional space downstairs on the first or second floor just to handle a couple hundred square feet, just to handle our extra stuff. Well, we had space now. So I canceled that immediately and I brought it up, you know. So what I like about multifamily is you can't cancel it out. You have to have 4 walls and a roof. You can get rid of your storage. You know, and times are good. Yeah, people will keep them there and they'll have it for years and years. But when they need to crunch it down, they're going to look at what they really need, the necessities, and they're going to look at the extras. And they're not going to do it. You know, so that's just my thought. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I don't know enough of the space to really comment on it. That's just my thought process. You got to have 4 walls and a roof. I think that's why I've been successful and survived all these up and downs. Because as Alex and I have already said a couple of times, as long as you got time on your note, as long as you got money in the bank, you can survive any market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are getting 17,000 square feet of warehouse space in addition, and we have seen that, you know, a lot of times with recession that people move out, they consolidate, they move in with relatives, and then they put their stuff in storage. So typically storage does go up, but you know, my other question was, you know, how in terms of social media or just marketing, how are you filling your units with, for example, Google My Business specifically? Are you optimizing using the Google My Business page and or are you running Facebook ads? And specifically, how is that helping you fill your units?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for clarifying that on the storage space. That makes a lot of sense to me.
When we have small time,
Nope.
Oh, I couldn't, what happened?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So again, Ryan, thanks for clarifying that on storage. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I learned how to run my first Facebook ad just with my phone. You know, I went on YouTube and just like, how do I do this? Right. There is a ton of people that need apartments. I see people using Facebook Marketplace. They use third-party companies. You know, we have a company that we use now. If you don't have a big marketing budget, I would use just apartments.com. I would use just those other players. But what those companies became was a toll booth between you and the customer. Just like OpenTable, right? They got famous because business owners, restaurants got too lazy on how to learn how to market. So then a company like OpenTable came in and became the toll booth. And so it's very important to learn your own social media, to learn your own game. Let me just take a quick second on equity. If you're looking to raise equity, social media is a great spot, but you got to give people something to look at. You got to show them your journey. Even if you haven't even bought a deal yet, right? You want to show them you looking for a deal. You want to show them your life, because people buy from people that they like. And then you got to work on your 30-second pitch, you know, and you do it on social or you do it in person when you finally make a connection. And like, who are you? What are you trying to do? Why should I work with you? And what is the end result? So yeah, we've used Google Ads. We had an internal guy who decided to go private, and so I use him now, and he keeps filling up passing leads for us. Now that I don't do property management, RPM, Roscoe Property Management out of Austin, does all the social media and the marketing for those apartments. They got a bigger team. We just do our social media for stuff like this, for our own engagement with investors today. But you know, the key to it is, if you don't exist here, you don't exist. So all y'all that are new to the game, you need to exist here, because this is where all the eyeballs are, and it's been here for quite a while now. You know, and so you've got to create your page. You've got to put your bio, what it is you're trying to do, and then you got to show in your stories what you're doing. You have to support what's in your bio in your stories. You know, so if you look at my bio says I'm a 5-time apartment owner of the year, which I won different city, state, national, you know, 5 different times, right? I own 675 million in apartments, and I'm pushing a mastermind. I've presented each of those 3 things in this call. If you go to my stories, it shows each of those 3 things. You know, so if you're Mike Bailey, you're somebody else, and you're trying to build deals. I went to Jasmine's page the other day. It shows exactly who she is, and she shows it in her stories. So make sure that you don't get away from that. Yes, you do want to have the relational picture. You at an Astros game or you at your kid's soccer game, or you having dinner, but don't waste the time of the people that are looking at you. You know, if they're following you, it's because you put something that was interesting. So give them something interesting. Stay with what you know. Stay with who you are. Don't make it up. Like right now, this whole time right here, you know, we're recording it here. I've got my internal team recording it here. When we're done, I should be trying to take this. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to push in all the channels. Then we should try to put it in written form, to either write a LinkedIn article on what I talked about at this mastermind. Working on that right now, trying to find a copy person to help me with that. But you've got to repurpose all the content as much as you can.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I agree
So-
with that. I 100%. And you know, Alex has done a really good job of that, of creating content like this, and then just having his team repurpose it, putting it on all the platforms. And when you go live, the other thing is you can go live to multiple channels now over Zoom, which is awesome. And
Yes.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem. And if I
Awesome,
can take it one level further, Alex, when you guys get apartment deals and you actually have tenants, focus on your resident reviews. Give them a hotline number and post it all throughout the business, in the mailroom, by the pools, by all the amenities. Give them a way to access you. If it's not a phone number, then they can leave a recording or an email address, so that you can personally look at every one of the reviews that comes in and act on it. You know, we used a company called J Turner Research, and they would consolidate all the reviews from Google, from Facebook, from apartmentratings.com, from where else? From apartments.com. They would consolidate all the reviews, and nightly I would get a summary for my entire portfolio. And I could go and I could see which property had a good review, which one didn't. And the one that didn't have a good review, I'm looking into it. And I'm trying to see, why is this resident upset? Why are they complaining? Now, 80% of the time they're complaining because they're looking for something to bitch about because they can't pay their rent. So they're trying to hurt you. And all you're doing is trying to push them out. But 20% of the time, there's a legitimate reason that they're complaining. And the more you attend to those, the better you do. The more renewals you'll have, the lower turnover you will have. So it's very important to not just the social media aspect on how to put people there, but also taking care of the people that are in there, because that's where you're going to make your most money.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan, for the question, and thank you for that awesome answer. So there's a couple more questions. So Robert, if you don't mind,
No problem. I got time.
Hang it. Okay, so let's go through these, and if you guys can limit it to just one question. I know it's Robert here, and you want to get as much as you can out, but let's go, John. Oh, what's up, bro? It's been a long time.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Robert, man, for your time. Can you guys hear me well? Yes.
Yes.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that's gonna be quick. I have many, but I don't want to take much of the time, So what is the thing that you are doing now that you wish you start doing from the beginning?
Again, I think there was two things. I think I would have gone third party my property management earlier. I think it's good to do it in the beginning. That's how I got started, so that you learn the game, so nobody can bullshit you. But I know it slowed me down along the way, and it wore me down. And I think at least 90% of my gray hairs, if you can see them, came from property management. So I think I would have done that, number one. Number two, I've enjoyed this education space. I think there's very few people that have my resume that are actually teaching this. I know I'm the only 2-time National Owner of the Year that's doing a mastermind. So similar to Grant, how he's really exposed himself. I mean, his resume is he's a billionaire, and just follow what the billionaire does. Listen to their advice, and that's why I was hard on Ryan on that call, because man, this guy's giving advice. Take his advice. He gave me the same advice a year ago to get out of property management, and it took me a year to actually do it, when I should have just taken it there. I should have taken it as gospel. But like Ryan, it just takes you a minute to absorb it. So I definitely think that getting out of property management earlier would have been helpful, and starting my education space, because this has been a great opportunity, to get in as many Zoom calls, to get in front of people, that want to work with you, that create another stream of income for you to maximize your time. Because my time's worth money, but what is it worth? It's worth what I think it's worth, right? It's worth what you think it's worth. And so I've got to fill up that white space in my calendar with opportunities, but at the same time, you got to provide value. So if I could have done that 3 years ago, I think I would be really, really happy right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. Good question, bro. All right, Hugo. Go ahead, brother. You gotta unmute yourself first, though. You can do it. All right, let's come back to him. Oh, there you go, Hugo. Just unmute yourself. Hit the mic button. All right, we're gonna come back to you when you gotta figure it out. Jasmine.
Hello. Yeah, I'm ready. So Robert, listening to your story every time is very inspiring, but can you share a little bit about the sacrifices that you made along the way, just to be where you are right now?
That's a wonderful question, Jasmine. And it doesn't get asked enough. There's an expression, it's lonely at the top. And they don't tell you why it's lonely at the top. When you're getting started in this journey, you're doing something that's non-traditional to the rest of your friends. The rest of your friends are working 40-hour jobs plus 60 hours. They're enjoying the life that they think that is there. And you have to be exposed to something better to know that there's better out there. It's like that Matrix moment, right? Blue pill, red pill. That's what real estate was for me. And a secret or an expression that I picked up along the way from one of my very first mentors was, what gets in the way of a great life? A good life. And when you start to choose a better life, you will lose your friends and you will lose your family, possibly. You know, you need to trust yourself and surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. And, you know, I remember I have almost no friends from when I got started in real estate in '07. These were people that I met at church. They were in our church groups. We were all empty nesters, and I talk to none of them today. And the reason is because I outgrew them. You know, when you're involved in real estate every single day and you're in podcasts or Zoom calls like this, and you're dealing with a billionaire like Grant Cardone, you're dealing with a guy like me that's got 5,000 units, you know, $700 million portfolio, you're going to hear a different mindset. That's different from your friend's mindset, but it's the mindset that got us here. And that's why I was talking to Ryan, like, man, listen to the billionaire guy, man. He's trying to help you. And I'm in the same boat because he was trying to help me. And so as you grow, you will lose friends. And guess what? Just when you think you have a stable group of friends, you'll lose them too, because you're constantly transitioning. In the end, I wound up losing my marriage as well, you know, because we grew apart. And, you know, it was one of those questions where, when is enough enough? And I've said to her, man, if you have to ask me that, you don't know me, because it's never going to be enough. It's not about the money. I beat the money game a long time ago. This is about what a kid from a border town in South Texas can do, whose daddy worked at Whataburger for 40 years. And I see Grant as my mentor, and that's what I'm chasing. That's what I get inspired by. What can be, like a North Star. I can get there. I just got to keep going in that direction, you know? And so, you know, I think it's very important to surround yourself with a support group. So if you're married right now, it is so important that you both do this together. Because just like my friend who, you know, he basically lost his wife that day because they have a very non-traditional relationship today that I would never be in, you know? But it started right there. I think your wife and your husband need to be on the same page. I've seen some incredibly successful husband-wife teams, duos, that do very, very well with this. And when you do this every single day, you share the stories, the war stories. You talk about it at dinner. You sleep and you dream this together. You know, and that's so big, because if she's doing something and you're doing something like what happened in my situation, and mine is just growing, and then hers isn't, or his isn't, then it creates this divide, you know, and they don't understand what your mindset along the way and how you got there. They didn't evolve with you. It's very important, I think, to make sure that your spouse runs with you. I think that if they are not running with you, they're going to hold you back. And if they hold you back, you're going to get resentful. And they're going to get resentful, you know? And I think those are the sacrifices along the way. And guess what? There'll be more along the way. You know, I once heard Grant say that he doesn't have anybody to go on vacation with.
Oh, that's money.
Well, I couldn't hear. Somebody said something?
No, it was just unmuted.
Oh, yeah, you know, he said he doesn't have anybody to go on vacation with. Part of that because you got to have a certain bankroll to keep up with him. He's not going to go on a cheap vacation. He's going to go somewhere fun. And if you want to roll with him, you got to keep up with him, right? But who does he have in his circle? Luckily, he found Brandon. He and Brandon are like really, really good friends today, you know? Or Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka's been around them together. Again, they're all in business together. You see, like a husband, like a wife. They're sharing the game with them. I can tell you personally that I have a very, very like small group right now of friends. And it's not what I want. It's not that I have it like that, but we just don't evolve together, you know? And you know, they start asking, when's enough enough? You know, it'd be nice to have someone to share stories with. That's why I think I enjoy these Zoom calls to talk real estate. I think it's why Grant does as much as he does, Alex. Because
Yeah,
I think he's got,
anytime that you want to come back.
yeah, I think he's got a very small group of friends too.
Yeah. All right.
And I think
cool.
I think I'm sorry, okay, and I think their success together is that it's the G&E show. If you ever saw their podcast together, you know, they're on the same page. Now she's got a real estate related company in her EXP business. Right? They're there together. That's so important. So even if she's not going to do the apartments directly with him, she may do something related where he may do something related to the real estate business. I wish I had seen that 10 years ago. I wish I could have made those decisions or could have morphed our relationships like that, so I wouldn't have lost so much.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, everybody, like these are like nuggets, you know, that somebody that is where you want to go, and there's things that you want to be taking notes down on right now. I'm on my 3rd page of notes, because it's just that important that along the way that I remember what someone like Robert shared with me, you know. So any one of these things could be life-changing.
Alex, I just want to say again, because I can't see everybody based on where I'm at. I can't see the screen. So if you're with, your spouse, man, you are ahead of the game. You guys are on the same mindset. You're on the same page. I saw Ryan with his beautiful girlfriend, Tatiana. That's fantastic. They're not even married, and they're doing this together. Like, hey, this is who I am. This is what it's going to be for us to be together. That's awesome. That really is. I love seeing that. I think that's where you're going to have legitimate success, because you don't want to be alone. You want to share that with somebody, and not every day are you going to feel good about what you're doing. Some days it's going to be off, and it's nice to have that support and that partner who knows what it is that you're going through, who can carry some of the weight when you need help.
Yeah. So we're going to take just 2 more questions, and then we're going to let Robert go so we don't hold him hostage over here. But and then so Hugo and then Luis will go, and then other questions, I'll give you Robert's, we'll have Robert's like emails and to his team, things like that. So you guys can reach out or just show up to the mastermind in January. All right, Hugo, you got it going now?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, man, what's up?
How you doing, Mr. Robert?
I'm doing well, brother. Are you in El Paso?
I just left Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, because it's dark here. It's dark outside, but you got light in your background.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of nowhere. I have no idea if you guys can see, but I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Don't run out of gas.
I know, right? So, recap on what you guys are talking about. The value that these rooms bring. I got to meet you personally. I had a little one-on-one, a little bit. I took advantage as much as I could, even though it gets hard to get yourself in front of people, or even just being on this chat. It gets hard. It gets really hard. You got to put yourself out there. And Alex brought me value on like, hey, if you want to bring me a deal or you want me to look at a deal, show me your bio, show me your team. And I'm like, he just schooled me, in a good way, in a good way, where like it just criticism, a good criticism, right? Constructive criticism, which is a good thing because it's making you grow. You're putting yourself uncomfortable and they're making you grow. I had a meeting with Jasmine. Jasmine gave me some fruit. We had a powwow for like about 2 hours. I went to Houston. I had reached out to you. Like, I was just trying to just get connected. It's not really bringing the team bringing a deal or anything like that, or what I can get out of you, but what value can we bring to these hierarchies of people that are bringing us a fruit of this industry, And the thing is like staying busy. I'm going to be honest. I don't know half of the things that I'm doing, but I'll take action. I'm going to go and do it. If I look like a fool, don't look like, I don't give a shit, but I'm going to go and do it. Why? Because I can come back and be like, hey, you know what do you guys think about this? Get a recap. And I love having these rooms, and I love it. I love what Alex is doing. Mr. Robert, I look up to you. Like, you guys are doing it. And that's where I want to be. And the more I put myself out there, like, it's beautiful. And I encourage everybody should have their hands raised. Like, everybody should want to be. Everybody should be on here, like with the hands raised.
So brother, like, Hugo, you got a question for Robert?
I do. So I'm looking at this deal. It's a A-class. It's an A-class property. It's a 2022. The broker kind of tried schooling me, but he didn't ask me for approval funds, so I know I did good, right? So he sent me all the information. He's telling me to send him an offer on this. they're more or less like in a 6 cap, and I need to know what cap rates should we be at this market.
That's a great question. So first of all, kudos to you for getting through that. I wanted everybody to know who Hugo is. I mean, he's one of the most positive people that I think I've ever met. And he's right. He doesn't know what he doesn't know, but he takes action, and he's trying to be in the right rooms. And so I think everybody should try to follow that as a good example because, Grant Cardone knows who you are. Ryan Secco knows who you are because you're in the club. And I think eventually you're going to get one. On the surface, I'm telling you right now, a Class A for you and where you're at is probably too much, but it's a good exercise. I think because you're talking about, I don't know, 50, $70 million, depending on how many units this is. And I don't know if you can swing that bat. I don't know if you have the equity, right? So I'd like to encourage you to get things that are a little bit more attainable. But for the service of this, you want your cap rate to be as close to the actual interest rate as you can get. If it's 2022, I assume this is a lease up. So that means there's no permanent debt. That means you're going to have bridge financing. And right now, people are afraid of bridge financing because it's tied to the interest rates that are moving. It's not stable. So it's like, well, what is it worth? You don't want that cap rate. And the cap rate for everybody listening is if you were to pay cash for the deal, no debt, what return would you make on your money? If you paid cash for, let's say this is a $100 million deal and you paid cash and it generated a 6% cash on cash return, that's your cap rate. When you get a cap rate and you add debt to it, you should make that cash on cash return go up. But if your interest rate, if your cap rate is below your interest rate, you got negative leverage, which means the deal is your cash on cash is going to go down. So that's number one. Right now, I would say debt is anywhere from 6.5 to 7. Especially if you're newer in the game, you don't have the track record, they might charge you more for the risk. And guess what? It's going to go up again in December. And so that would mean that cap rate needs to go up to 7. And that's what's going to happen. That's why this is an amazing market for those of you all out there. If just wait right now. Just wait. I would not do a deal the rest of this year. Because what's going to happen is that everybody's going to go home for the holidays. And they're going to be counting their pennies. And they're like, man, we are hurting. Man, this debt is out of control. Man, we got to get out of this deal. And you're going to see a lot of amazing deals come out in the first quarter of next year. Grant didn't do a deal all year long. But the one that he is doing right now, he's buying it all cash. He's staying away from the debt because it's not fixed. So everybody listening, to be really, really careful. This is a great time to learn and to be in rooms like this or to come to private masterminds like mine or somebody else's, but learn what you don't know so you don't make a mistake later on.
Awesome. That was an awesome
Thank you,
answer.
guys.
Thank you. So last question, we'll go to Luis.
Alex, how are you doing, Robert?
Hey, Luis.
I'm here in Houston, as you can see from my.
I saw the
camera.
hat.
Yes, of course, I saw that game, man. That was an awesome game. But anyway, I just wanted to wear it so you could see it. Anyway,
I can appreciate it.
Take it off.
Natalie.
So, I have I wanted to have a comment to you guys. I mean, especially about Robert. Robert said something in one of those calls that we are with Grant, and he said, "I know you guys want to shoot for the stars, but you need to settle down a little bit and look for deals that are more attainable for you guys, right?" So I started to look at deals, and I found, and I bought actually with that syndication. I just went ahead and did it, right? Bought a 17-unit deal here in Houston.
Love it.
But right now, it's like I realized that I could have done it better. I could have done it in a way of like maybe partnering with somebody like Mike, like Alex, and somebody that because like in the union is a force, right? So that's what I thought, and that's what I wanted to tell you guys as well. And that's kind of the side comment. My question is, because I want to make it short too, since we are in Halloween or almost, I wanted to ask you, Robert, of what's your horror story that you're still thinking about, and you're like, oh man, I still think about those and gives me the creeps or something, Because I know some people like me, we learn more of the mistakes, and I've made bunch of them already, more than, you know, the stuff that is nice and it's good to have, you know?
Love it. Okay, so first of all, this gets into a larger debate, you know, and I might use my time on this next topic before I ever get to the horse story. But, you know, I can see why you want to partner with a Mike Bailey or a Jasmine or an Alex or a Ryan, right? Because together the idea is you can do bigger. But again, I got started by myself. That's how the real estate club taught me. So I've never had a co-GP with anybody. And at the same time, I became a 2-time national owner of the year. And I think I did that because I learned all the lessons myself. Yeah, I made my mistakes, but I made the mistakes. I was first one through the door, and I learned from those mistakes, and you went forward. You have so much more value to me to partner with you if you own a 17 unit by yourself. And the reason why is because you are doing it all yourself. As I said to you earlier, I've leased, I've done the maintenance, got the units ready, I've done the renewals, I've property managed. At 17 units, you have to do it by yourself. That's not big enough to hire anybody. I have such more like wow, credibility for you because you've done it together. I'm sorry, you've done it alone. And I know you'll learn and you'll get taken advantage of because that's part of the game. You got to learn on the job. But you'll learn so much more doing it alone than I think you will in a group. Now, you can later join a group if you wanted to, but you'll have so much more value when you say I've done a 17 unit deal that I paid, I don't know, 1.7 million for. And I did it in 2 years. I made it worth 3.4 million. Now you bring $1.5 million of equity because you did the deal by yourself, whether you syndicated or not, whatever. You made a lot more money. You didn't have to share in that money. And you learned all the lessons. See, when you got to split it 4 or 5 different ways, you got to do 4 or 5 different deals to make that same amount of money. So, I mean, it's like, I don't want more headaches. That's why I was trying to tell Mike earlier, like, don't do anything other than asset manage right now. The syndication model. Why bring in all this complexity? You know, it's like you're at a point in your life where I want to enjoy life, right? You're never going to become truly passive in this if you're having to worry about this company and that company and that company. Hire all that out, worry about the asset management for these apartments, and these will send you checks every single month. You're going to have to put a lot of effort and time into that construction company because you're going to have labor issues. You know, why go through all that when you can spend your time looking for deals? Why do all that when you can spend all your time asset managing your deals? So I hope I answered your question. I think to someone like Mike or Jasmine, you're going to have so much more value to them if you've actually done one of these before. I know you would to me. And then you realize, man, I've done 17 units. Now I've got enough credibility. I've been building my equity book by myself. I mean, I raised 180 million by myself. Never had anybody else. Done over 6,000 units. You know, and so my point is, next thing you're at a 50 unit, you're syndicating yourself and you're still the solo GP. You make that successful based off the lessons that you personally learned on the 17 unit, and now you're doing a 100 unit. Look, just for everybody understands, I didn't get to $700 million of real estate overnight. My very first deal was 2.9 million in 2010, and I raised 1.5. My next deal was 1.9 million, and I raised 1.1. My third deal was 2.9 million, and I raised 900,000. So each of my first 3 years, I only did one deal, and they were small, 2.1, what did I take, 2.9, 1.9. I mean, it was until later that I grew, but why did I grow? Because I learned all those lessons. I got the track record of all that stuff. You know, and when I was able to learn it, guess what? I speak better on it. I speak with experience. I mean, hopefully by today you're hearing operational stories on things, right? I'll give you a freebie. I know that the number one reason why people move out is because of maintenance. And the number one maintenance issue is air conditions, especially in Houston, Texas. So in every one of our rehabs, I budget to replace all the air conditions day one. All of them. Because I don't want people moving out. And I know that's number one maintenance headache. Number two, I use that as a renewal bump. If I go do a renovation project and you find out that you're getting a new air condition, you're increasing your chances of wanting to renew with me. Because most renovations don't include the air conditions, and they only do improvements on the new units, the new leases, not on the old stuff. Here, everybody gets a new air conditioner like you're Santa Claus. And if you're a manager and you are on the same page, you're treating it that way. You're using it as a renewal incentive to renew with you. You were going to do it anyway. But now you're going to storytell and say, hey, if you give me this $50 rent bump, I'll go put this brand new air conditioning system. I'm going to tell you, most renters have never had a brand new AC in their unit, in their apartments. And if you can be that guy, you're probably going to get, not only are you going to get the new lease, you're going to get that renewal. Does that make sense for you, Luis?
Totally.
Okay. That's just
And I will
my
be
thought.
there.
You can see how passionate I am about this. You know, I just, this is how I learned it. I never learned it with anybody else. I learned it on my own. I quit my day job, making $150,000 a year, to come do this full time. My first several months, I was annualizing 32,000. By the end of the year, I picked it up to, we bought our second deal. I was up to about 40,000. That's what I was doing, but I was making money on the equity. I was making money on the cash flow, so that a year later, the $200,000 of equity that I put in as an investor, I pulled it all out within 24 months. And by that point, I was back to $100,000 of a year on my salary, or whatever my ownership draws. Now this is like, 12, 13 years ago, right? If I had to take a step back so that I can move forward, and now, I mean, it's a whole nother animal on what I make a year, right? But you have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit there, take a step back. If you have to share in the pie, and again, and I don't mean, it's not, I'm just giving you guys my opinion. So for the Mike Baileys and the Ryans and Alex and Jasmine, I'm just like, yeah, it's great to go further, but I want to keep as much of it as I can. I have more value. I get to keep more of the pie if I just learn it myself. I mean, that's why you pay for mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there because you're holding hands. That's why you're joining forces, because you're holding hands because you're scared. But what if you put just put a few dollars into mentorship? I'm telling you right now, Luis, you're on a good side. You're in a good situation. 17 units. Learn that. Learn that for the next 24 months or whatever it is. Pull your money out and have a success story, a cradle to grave success story that now you can take to your investors and say, I've done this. Here's my 30-second pitch. In 2021, I bought a 17-unit deal. I did this, and this improvement. I returned 150% back to my investors. I'm ready to do it again. I'm raising $4 million. I'm putting in $300,000 of my own money. I would love for you to invest in me because I see the same situation as I did before. Now, isn't that a really good pitch?
Thank you. Yes.
Versus I'm in the syndication group. You don't have any stories. Mike learns the stories on what he handles. Jasmine learns the stories on what he does. Ryan, Alex, they're all learning their individual lessons. But you didn't learn it because you weren't in the room. You were somewhere else doing something else. Here, you're forced to learn it all. Real estate investing in syndication, this is a marathon. And the riches are there. But you just got to put the time in. You got to train. And then you can go. I didn't buy more than one deal for the first 4 years of my career.
At what age was that?
So what age or what year?
Age.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I got started in 07. So I was 34, I was 33. I bought my first deal by myself without anybody, without a buddy or a friend. In 2010, that was 118 units. And then it wasn't until 2014 when I bought multiple deals that year. So 4 years. So I was 40 in 2014. I'm 48 today.
Nice.
You look
Cool.
good, brother.
I look what?
You look good.
Oh, they say I look old. Like I probably do look old, cuz fucking property management is wearing me down, man. You should see my younger pictures.
Awesome. So cool. Everyone, thank you guys for your questions and your participation and being here today. Robert, special thanks to you for taking this time out. Time is money, and you brought it here. So
guys, if I can share my info, is that okay, Alex?
Yeah, so you can share your info. Also, we're gonna send this out in an email follow-up for everybody that's in here as well. So yeah, I guess your team will share the info in the chat.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna talk out loud. Hope y'all can get it, and then they can share in the chat as well. So if you want to get a hold of us, maybe come to our mastermind, give us a call at 832-942-1196. You can also send me an email address at robert@rockstar-capital.com. Again, robert@rockstar-capital.com. I beg you to please follow me on my Instagram so you guys can watch the stories, so you can hear, you know, excerpts of this interview, excerpts of other interviews, and pick up those nuggets. And you can find me at Apartment Rockstar. So again, it's on Instagram at Apartment Rockstar. Or if you want to be my friends, just follow me on Facebook.
All right, awesome. Yeah, Robert is a rock star on Instagram for sure. So yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I super appreciate you being here, dropping all these nuggets. I got 3 pages of stuff to look through tonight. Really appreciate you being
That's
here, all
awesome.
the advice. Any last tips or anything for anybody that's just starting, don't know where to start?
Yeah, before you invest in anything, invest in yourself. You know, don't spend $1. Don't get into a syndication with somebody. You don't know who they are yet. Learn the game. There's a lot of free advice on YouTube, on my channel, Grant's channel, your channel. Everybody's got a freebie, you know, to go there to learn from them. Don't be afraid to spend a few dollars to get your education, though. It's so worth it for you. To sit there in that room with other people and be around it. I'm telling you, being in that room with Grant, you know, I've already got 15 years. I'm sorry, at the time, yeah, like 14 years of experience doing this. And I learned so much in the last 12 months to where it grew my portfolio 60% in 1 year, what took me a lifetime to do, you know?
Yeah.
So anybody can get to where I'm at. You really can. You just have to start at the beginning, and you just got to pay attention to the lessons and work everything yourself and then move forward from there. And it will pay for itself. It is a generational life changer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You definitely inspired me to level up a little bit more in my life. And I'm excited. Excited to
Alex,
see
we'll,
you next
we'll see
event.
you in January, right? In my mastermind.
Yeah, and you'll see me at Grant's event too in December.
All right. That's awesome, baby.
Cool. I'll see you there.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody. I had a great time. Let me know if I can help you again, 832-942-1196, or hit me up my email at robert@rockstar-capital.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Thank
Cool. So
Take care, guys.
we're gonna do a little bit of quick 2 sessions of breakout rooms and networking. I know everybody loves this, so I don't want to cut it out again. Last time with Rod, we didn't really get a chance to do that. So let me unpin myself and just have Mike's face up here. No.
Thank you.
Alright.
Is Robert?
Dude, so I hope
Thanks,
Huh?
Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys got some value from that. You know, Robert is a rock star for sure. And you know, take everything that, you know, that comes out of my mouth, everybody's mouth, with a grain of salt, but also try it on. All right, try all of these things on. Robert had his journey his way. He will teach you based on mute. He will teach you on his journey, how he created it, you know, and then Grant will teach how he did his journey. I will share how I did my journey. Mike will do his. Jasmine will do hers. So you get to choose and you get to put these things together, which is what's great. And so on this call, you know, the goal is for you guys also to meet each other. And I know every time I say this, about 20% of the people drop out because they're not ready to, they're like, I don't know, I can't meet other people. So just a couple announcements before we go into that. Next week or the week after, I'm having one of the top podcast people come on to this call. She's produced a whole ton of different top tier podcasts. She actually makes like Brad Lee and these guys look a little bit small. So she's going to be really amazing. I will send out information about that, and that's going to be a killer call. We're still setting up exactly which day it's going to be, next week or the week after. Other things, we are, you know, masterminds. This is what every successful, super uber successful person, you know what they say? They start their journey in some sort of course, in some sort of mastermind. Okay, so my journey has been I mean, I've been in real estate for a long time, so my learning curve is low. And I'm very confident in myself, and I have courage to dive into the deep end head first every time. So that is something that I can bring. I will teach that. I will teach my whole journey. Some of you guys have witnessed how far I've come in this short period of time, and that's something that I can teach. You know, I'm going to teach everything from personal development side of it to what I know about multifamily, how I've done it. Went from, I'm in six different deals, we're going to be a GP in almost 600 plus units, in 9 months. So you can go fast, and nothing wrong with either doing it by yourself or with a team. I always believe my philosophy is obviously always team, always about community. I'm always about bringing people together. I don't care about keeping a bigger piece of the pie, but that's me, so you will find your mentor. And I'm still going to go to Robert's event, even though we have different philosophies about these deals. I'm still going to go there because I know he's somewhere where I want to be. I got to take down all the nuggets of how he got there, and I will put in things that I believe is valuable for me. The culture that I want to create, always in any environment, any community, any tribe, is partnership, teamwork, and how do we always be in service to each other. Being in service is where fulfillment comes from. I don't want to be alone and have no friends. I want to get up to the top, and I want to have a whole ton of friends. I don't care what anybody says. You could say it's lonely at the top, but I'm going to bring a whole bunch of people with me to the top. And if we don't make it to the top, I'm still got a whole bunch of people with me wherever I go. So that's my philosophy. And now I'm just blabbering, but I appreciate everybody being here and all the support. I definitely feel loved, and I will do everything I can every single week to bring on the best speakers that I can. I will go out and do all the uncomfortable things. I will do all the butt puckering things so that I can make these connections and get the best speakers on here for everybody. All right.
Hey,
And then,
Alex.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. So the last thing is this is the last week really to sign up for the group mentorship program that is starting November 8th. It is going to be awesome. You're going to learn all the A to Z's of multifamily, from what I know. And I'm in a lot of places, so I learn very, very fast. And also transformational personal development type of work, the culture of team, of seeing your own limits, your own limiting beliefs, your stories. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about raising capital, everything a part of it. I will also be doing that. So I don't really promote it that much, but I do want to, I'm very excited for the people that are already signed up and ready to go. And I know it's kind of like selling something, but I know that I am going to over deliver, and I'm just excited for anybody that wants to join that journey. So that's going to come out in the email too. And you guys know what I'm about, at least from what you've seen on these calls. I will bring it to 10x on that mentorship call. So go ahead, Mike.
I'm signed up. Yay.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
Go ahead,
sorry, I
Mike.
didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I just wanted actually to share, and if you don't mind,
Go for it. Go
I
for it.
posted in there as well, Massive Capital, which I know our teams have come together. We've joined and done a few deals together. But Massive Capital is doing a webinar, starting weekly webinars on Wednesdays, and we're going to just be talking about Massive Capital and different philosophies, different ways to underwrite that doesn't have to do with some of the traditional underwriting, like numbers and all that stuff. So I dropped it in the chat if anybody wants to sign up for the webinar. Feel free to join us this Wednesday. Then we'll be doing those going forward.
Yeah, I just want to say that Massive Capital I've learned so much through the people in there. Everyone that's on that team is just amazing. So that is cool. So awesome that you guys are doing that now, Mike. And I look forward to being on that call as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's break out into rooms, and then in between we can take some shares. But if you have like shares and things that you learned, what you're up to, this is the opportunity. You're going to have about 10 minutes in each room, and we'll do this twice, and then we will start to wrap this call up. So Nick, if you can send everybody out into the breakout rooms.
And there's no under this week, right?
Yeah, take advantage of this. Take advantage of this. The person that you're supposed to meet is in these rooms. Go for it. Go, go, go. Turn your cameras on.
Alrighty, they're open. Getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
$18 people. 17. 16. 15. $15.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
Per usual. Great guest speakers.
Yeah, definitely. That one is total credit to Jasmine for putting that together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great. Definitely. Every week, I don't know how we're gonna top these great speakers.
Listen, it's we're only gonna keep going up.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's only a matter of time before Grant jumps on this call. Telling you, it's happening.
Without paying him 40K, he's just gonna
Without paying him 40K. I thought about paying him 40,000 to bring him onto this call for an hour.
Nah, he'll
I
want
think
to.
I think I would hold that, Alex.
Huh?
I think I would hold that.
What do you mean you will hold? What do you mean you will hold it?
I would hold. I mean, I would hold off on that. I would,
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
I let it flow to you a bit, you know,
yeah.
because that's you can make that happen, but it's, you know, I think when it's ready, it's ready.
Yep. So, you know, Grant's gonna be like, hey, I hear you got this call going. Robert was on it.
Yeah, Robert's been on it. Yeah, then
Odd Cleef. Now you got to get Brad Sunlock though.
Yeah. I'm gonna join his mastermind next year though. And I
Yeah,
can't make
hold
these
on.
events.
Hold off on that. That's yeah.
Mike is always like the grounding person for me. I'm always trying to fly before I know how to fly. Just like let me
No,
jump off this cliff.
no, it's sharing the experience of what I did and what I'm not, because I've jumped in and I've paid for stuff and I, you know, it's learning which ones are right. I think you would be better served to join something like Raise Masters with Hunter
Hmm.
than Brad's group if you were going to join a next group.
Yeah. I'm a fan of this like this type of like cult thing that Brad's created over there. I want to see, you know, how he provides such good, you know, not to be in the cult, but you know, also just to see, you know, how he's provided such value to retain all the people, you know, to have such loyalty. And he was awesome. His event was great.
Yeah. You went on the bus tour, huh?
Yeah, I went on the bus tour.
Cool.
And and from that tour, we have a video with 6,000 views on Instagram. Boom.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See how many views that has actually.
It's not. It's nothing of it has to do with the content. It's all of Nick's way he sells it for you on his.
When we do a video together, it always gets a lot of views. We've only
Yeah.
done 2 of them, so we got to do more.
Yeah.
Stuff
When
in
we
Sarah-
go to Sarasota, I'm gonna get a van and then we're gonna go.
All right,
And we'll
Okay.
actually fit people.
I'm here all day Sunday, and there's no events, so we got all day.
All right. We'll make it happen. Mike, you gonna be there? You gonna be at Rod's Sarasota event?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
leaving. I get there Thursday afternoon.
Somebody in room 2 is asking for help. I'm gonna go check it out what that means.
All right, guys. I'll catch
right,
you
bye.
later.
All right, later, Mike.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Nick, nice to see you, bud.
Good to see you too.
If you run out of work for Alex, let me know. We can always drop you some opportunities.
Ah, okay.
Go back. So I gotta do another map my walk while we're in Sarasota.
All right. We'll do that. We'll walk some properties. We'll look something up, and then we'll walk some properties in Sarasota, and we'll film it.
I gotta give you a list of stuff to bring because we can't not bring. And make sure to bring the gimbal. We'll fix it, or we'll figure it out.
I was gonna return it.
Okay, yeah, return it and get a new one because I'm sure we probably screwed it up. But like, if I can get my hands on it, I can actually do it, you know?
Yeah.
So let's just like get a new one.
Dude, somebody rented my car
Mm-hmm.
and they put new rims on it for a car show. My car is in a car show right now.
They rented it to put it in a car show,
Yeah.
and then did they ask you if they could put rims on it?
They asked me if I can put it in a car show, and if I don't mind. I was like, no.
Damn, that's cool.
That's sick. Those rims are nice. I want to keep those things.
How's your watch?
Oh man, it's great. I love it.
Does it tell the time?
Yeah. Can I read the time? That's a question.
You can't read the time?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good story about watches. I'll share another time. Because in the beginning, I used to have a thing about not having watches, because in this one conference, this guy was like, listen, you got to break that. Like, I was on stage for something I did, and I got a watch in a case, and we got to smash it with a hammer because we want to break free from the time.
But,
Right. So then I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to wear a watch. But really, that just reinforced the story of that I couldn't afford a nice watch. So it was a good excuse not to get a watch. I was like, yeah, that's a good story. I follow it. Now, today, somebody else was like, yeah, you have a nice watch because it shows you the value of your time. It's a reminder of the value of your time that is apart from everyone else's time. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good story. Now that I got a watch, I'll take that story.
that's why
That's a bunch of stories.
will be another reminder of our time because we won't have to wait through TSA. We'll be playing with so many people. You just go there and leave.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We will. It's on my vision board. That
Good.
and a Corvette. My family's on, but yeah.
Good. All right. How much time has gone by? You tracking this or what?
We have 3 more minutes.
Hey guys, can you hear us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Reassign you.
Nice. So my other phone that I was on got all whacked out, so we're gonna use Tatiana's right now.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were in someone's room, and then she was like, "Nobody's talking to me."
What's that? I
Okay,
know. What's that,
Yeah.
sweetheart?
Let me assign you. Actually, no, you're already assigned, I think. Yeah. Room 7. No, room 9.
Oh, well, it's probably gonna be switching in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I thought that was really interesting the way he he was talking about like no team.
Yeah, I mean, this is the philosophy. It's like you take everything in and you learn it, and you and you do what makes sense for you. Because what he said does make sense in terms of when you've done a deal all by yourself and you come to us, like that obviously does bring value.
Yeah.
So there is that good things.
Will automatically be moved to main session after.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But like
That
I
was
was like I was sharing afterwards, I don't know if you missed it, is I'm all about the team. It's not a it's not a it's lonely at the top. I'm not committed to being lonely at the top.
yeah, I agree. I stayed. I heard it.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I'm committed
heard it.
to. I'll go where I need to go, but I'm just gonna go with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I don't need to be at the top.
Yep. I hear you. It was
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm not gonna lose my wife over it. I'm not gonna lose, my friends over it. So
Yeah.
different
like-
philosophies. Yeah, go ahead. Nick.
Yeah.
Mentioned in Robert's story. So
Huh?
you were mentioned in Robert's story.
Oh, boom! Look at that.
Actually, he
Another
reposted our
stepping stone. Huh?
He reposted our story, so I reposted his story, reposting our story.
Oh, nice. All
Yeah.
right.
I've been reposting a lot since you've been sharing it in the messages with me. I just repost it. Nice.
Are we back in the main room or back in the?
You guys are back in the main
Hi.
room.
You're back.
Yes. Oh my God. What a great breakout.
That was great.
Oh.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Nice. I love seeing that every
Jessica.
time.
Yay.
What are the chances my brother got in the same breakout room that I did?
It's-
That is
Wait till you hear, you're not gonna believe the story that he told me today on the way home from the airport, what happened to him.
Tell me. Now we got to hear. Now all of
Oh,
us.
yeah.
know.
Yeah, okay. Actually, it's probably better. I don't know if he's still on.
No, I'm on. I'm on.
You tell the story. You tell it. You tell it, Pete.
Hey, Mark.
I can and learn in the process.
All right.
Pete, tell the
Can
story.
everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
All right. So on the way home, I like to get to the airport a couple hours early just to avoid the rush. So I'm sitting there and this couple in their 50s, they're talking to the bartender about they want to buy a house in Florida and Texas. So I perk up and get in the conversation. And I find out that they have two storage units.
Class. Okay.
They have two storage units in Maine that they want to liquidate. And jokingly, with their eyes wide open, said, "Why, you want to buy them?" And I said, as a matter of fact, and I told them all about our group and Alex and all about these storage units. And the reason I was in Florida was to look at the storage unit. So anyway, I have all their information. We didn't crunch any numbers or anything. It was just a casual conversation, but we exchanged numbers.
Oh,
That's awesome.
you did the wrong.
Oh, come on, Nick.
I gotta mute everyone all over again.
Yeah, sorry, Pete. You got
Congrats,
muted. So
Pete.
you gotta unmute.
So I think the
All right.
point is you never know when the next deal is gonna be, right?
No, exactly. It
True.
might not
Exactly.
pan out, but you never know.
Yeah,
Never
listen,
know.
you never know, and this is why team is so freaking important. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't, I even if Grant told me not to do team, I probably would still do team because that's just how stubborn I am about team. All right, so
I agree with you, Alex.
everybody is got their own thing. Look, Robert is a one-man army. Grant is a one-man army. They can say all of these things. I'm about building an army, and also I don't care about getting to the top. All right, I'm about who am I going somewhere with. Okay, we could be halfway up the mountain, and I'll be happy with it.
You're
So
one of God's
I
warriors.
totally agree.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't said anything on
Amen.
these calls. Alex, this is Rowena.
hey,
Hey, but every time you said that, I wanted to jump in and say I'm right there with you. So yeah, people with me to the top, and I have no problem following you. Thank you.
awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Alex,
appreciate so many of you guys.
Alex,
Yeah.
do you still have that poster that we're all just walking each other home? I
Yes,
remember
I
that from
do.
all our calls. Remember that? I never.
I have a poster that always reminded me we're all walking each other home. And guess where it is? It's in a storage unit in freaking Florida. God damn it. So I've had a storage unit for 10 freaking years. Up market, down market, doesn't matter. I've still had it. So I
So
don't
much
know.
for that theory. All
Yeah.
right.
But he's not in storage. So that's what he thinks. But it's
You know,
cool.
Even if the market goes down, people are gonna be downgrading, or they're gonna move it in with their parents, and their junk they're gonna need our storage units. So I'm cool.
As long as Amazon exists,
Yeah.
storage units will exist. All right, so we're gonna send you guys out. We're gonna send you guys
I
out
have
to
you
a
beat,
second
Alex.
breakout. You have me beat. What you mean?
Yes, 1997. I still had a storage unit from.
Oh my God, you do have me beat. All right, everybody, go to your breakout rooms. See you in a minute.
35, 30, 20, 6, 5, 22, 20, 19, 18, 16, 15, 13, 11, 10.
Oh,
Then there were 10, 9, 10 again. Keston's here
where?
in the waiting room. I'm letting him in.
Oh snap,
Snap.
Keston.
Hey.
Oh, let me do that again. Let me see if audio connects. Keston in the house.
Bro, did I jump into like a personal meeting?
No. Everybody's out in breakout rooms right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just getting home and I'm like, oh, let me see what's going on in here.
Yeah. Robert just left and he killed it for the last hour and a half. But now we're just doing breakout rooms, letting people meet each other. It's fun.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah. You're doing big things, man. How's it going since we last spoke?
It's going pretty darn cool, bro. I just moved to Tennessee last week.
I followed your story. I saw that you were moving to Tennessee.
Yeah, bro. So my wife just got here today. So just got back in from showing her around and stuff like that.
Nice. What are you guys doing there? You guys have a deal there?
Several. We got a few. So that's why we came over here to kind of make sure we have the right team. The goal is to we're converting smaller multifamily into boutique hotels.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm doing the opposite in Vegas. I'm gonna convert boutique hotels into multifamily.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's cool, man. I'm always following your story. You're one of those cool dudes that I'm always following for sure. Keep it up,
Appreciate you.
bro.
Nick, what's up, bro?
Not much. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Eating a sandwich. I thought I was coming in here to get my mind blown and learn, man.
Dude, you late. It starts at 7.
Nah, so late, bro. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you hopping on here. It's good seeing you.
Absolutely, bro. Well, unless I'm gonna hang out and listen to what you guys talking about, then I'm a jet out.
All right, bro. Let's stay connected. Let's keep staying connected, bro.
For sure, man. For sure. We gotta catch up.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Later. There he is. Oh, and then he's gone.
He was here. 7 people. We're getting close. Only 4 people. Got to get in their breakout rooms.
And people want to hear me BSing over here with you.
Is Zijan the VA or am I completely losing it?
Oh yeah, that's cool. What's up, Zishan? Welcome.
It is.
He checked out our call. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to get a deal, if you want to get something done with somebody, you gotta
initiative.
You gotta take that initiative, take that extra step. I like it. Good stuff, Zishan.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing that I'm teaching people is you gotta get in front of people. If I want to do a deal with Robert, I want to be in Robert's vicinity. I'm going to do these things, I'm going to Robert's stuff. I'm gonna go to his event in January, and I kind of committed myself to friggin' the front row, since he's gonna sit me next to him. Which I'm gonna remind him when I buy the ticket. I'm gonna remind him that, hey, I'm sitting next to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm paying a Rolex watch over here to be sitting next to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That seems like a cool event. If only I could come to.
It's a hefty price to drop.
That's true. I don't have $3,000.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you will.
Yet is the key word.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
But any money that I make from the group coaching is going right back into a deal. So.
Oh, nice.
But I don't really have 50K. That's the problem. Can I put in like?
Well, listen, we just gotta make 50K. Let's keep it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
We build this thing up into a course. We can put it out on Facebook ads, and like what Grant does, drop $1 million a month, make 400K a day. That's when you break the system.
Well, yeah, when you put in $1 million a month in ads, that's how you break the system. That's like the operating cost of a G700 a month in ads. That.
Wait, a G700 costs $1 million a month?
Well, not really. It's about $10,000 an hour to operate a plane like that, like crew, fuel, food, stuff like that. maybe 8 to 10,000.
Sheesh.
So you know, it depends how much you fly to get up to $1 million. But if you're flying like twice a week, you know, it's definitely worth it. I mean, you're saving so much time. Like what do you spend like 4 hours at an airport? 3 hours, maybe 3 hours.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
So if you can just like drive up, get on, leave, land, get off, drive away.
I listen. I'm in.
Yeah.
We just gotta put in the work right now, and then we're planting the seeds.
This is
and
it.
we will-
By the
we will
time,
reap.
all right, by the time I graduate high school, let's make that.
All right.
You got a year and a half.
That means whatever work we're doing, we need to 10x it.
That's the thing right here. Bro, I still got this cough. It's a pain in the ass. I don't stop coughing. But the private jet was very nice. Makes me want one even more. It's huge. You can walk under the wing and not even hit your head. Everyone loves these networking sessions, though. They're a big hit.
It is. We should actually stop the recording.
Yeah.